Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. My name again is Jeffrey Davis, and we are streaming more stories than ever before. You know, one story we seem to be talking about a lot with this new economy has been corporate fraud. And we always want to go to our number one authority on legal matters and litigation, and that is our reporter, Mark Furman, from the law firm of Tarlow, Breed, Hart, and Rodgers. Welcome back, Mark, and you are looking well.
Jeffrey, it's great to be with you and looking forward to chatting again this morning.
You know, before the show, the staff came to me and they asked me if you could talk to them a little bit more about corporate fraud, Mark. Can you help us with that subject?
Well, kidding aside, it's a very serious subject that, companies are always in danger of being defrauded. And as are investors in companies. And but in terms of protecting companies, I always think about having a multi-pronged defense. First of all, you have to worry about people who work for you who may turn out to be less than honest. And so one thing you can talk to your insurance advisors about are fidelity bonds. Now, banks, for example, always, I think, have fidelity bonds that protect against a dishonest employee. And that kind of coverage you can look into if you're a company as well. The cost of dealing with fraud when it's uncovered is enormous. The legal fees, the accounting fees, the litigation it spawns. And so I think that's one thing that people should keep in mind. Secondly, they say in real estate, Jeffrey, that there are three rules in buying real estate: location, location, location. Well, in protecting against fraud, the three rules are internal controls and checks and balances. Internal controls and checks and balances. And the third one is internal controls and checks and balances. Sometimes this particular danger for small companies, they have the loyal and trusted bookkeeper, handles the receivables, the payables, makes the deposits, collects the mail. And, one that I was involved a trusted person who, over a period of 8 years, stole $2,085,000. And she did it. There are all sorts of ways people do it, but in this particular case, she simply didn't record certain sales. And then when the check payments came into the company, instead of depositing them into a company account, she had a personal and business relationship with a banker at a local bank, and they set up an account together with a similar but different, non-identical name, and they put through that account over 8 years $2,085,000, and they did ultimately go to jail, and there was no fidelity insurance, but fortunately she made a great investment with the proceeds in some vacant land, and at a very good price. That land became extremely valuable when the prosecutions came, And I was hired by the company to recover as much as possible. And we were able to recover that land, which sold for a lot of money, and then settle with the bank and end up making the client whole in that case. But no land, it would have been tougher thing to make the company whole, and the legal costs were very substantial. That's just one example. Accounting firms, reputable, experienced accounting firms will do a review, an analysis of your internal controls to make sure that your risks are limited. And folks should talk to their trusted accountants, outside accountants, I mean, not internal employees, to consider, are their controls the kind that will protect them? But people engage in fraud, they forge checks, they underreport sales. There's all sorts of different ways that people do it.
Well, so many things you said. I know we're not going to have enough time. The fidelity bonds, I wanted to know more, but also, is a review enough? Do you need a full audit? Is it sometimes good to bring in a third-party financial firm to do a review if you're going to do it? Because sometimes the accounting firm is too close to it and too close to some of the parties who may be involved. I mean, I've seen some of these things, and I consider changing my name. I have a very common name. I don't think I'm saying it at school. A long time ago, somebody once asked me if I owned a golf course in Florida. They put my name on it. I was thinking of changing my name to Moishe Slosberg so that my name couldn't be used anymore. But there's so many things you make me think about, Mark. You always do that. You always bring the fear factor.
Well, I mean, it's, some of these things are, if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. And, that's where people and companies can get taken in. If anybody promises a guaranteed return, and they're not buying a government US-backed bond or a certificate of deposit that's backed up by the United States government up to the cap on that, there's no such thing as a guaranteed return.
Well, I'll ask you one more because you've always made me scared about making sure that people had a broker-dealer license and that I had a broker-dealer license. And last week I got a letter from an entrepreneurial attorney who asked me if I wanted to participate in an investment that they were interested in. And to me, that too, you got to be careful when friends, and no matter how professional they are, start coming to you with investments, correct?
Absolutely. You have to, this is why, the established venture funds and private equity folks are people invest money with, because they have a track record of vetting these investment opportunities, and they may say no to 19 of them before they say yes on a limited basis to one. And they get actively involved. So I'm not saying don't invest, but I think people have to stick to their knitting and know what they know, and nobody can know everything. And you have to do real due diligence if you're going to invest in a company.
Well, I'm sure you remember this character behind me that's underdog, and we don't want to get in that position where we have to be digging for where the money is that's been taken. And Mark, if someone's looking for you at Tarlow, Hart, and Rodgers and wants to know more about how to protect their organization during this very precarious time, because they're saying that fraud is going to be, it's starting to be and is going to be epidemic during this new economy, how would they find you?
I can be reached by email at mfurman, Furman, at TBHR law.com, or my direct line at work is 617-218-2025.
Thank you very much, Mark. We really appreciate your reports. I look forward to speaking to you again next week. Remind everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs.